Hi, I'm the face behind a lot of the psychological frameworks that I hear people using to describe and explain RJ and R OCD. Now, you may recognize terms like intrusive thoughts and cognitive compulsion, narrative, or cross compulsion. Even adjacent compulsion, I've heard be used because there is a difference between adjacent and cross compulsion. Or cognitive diffusion. All of these terms I first applied to RJ and R OCD many years ago as part of my own unique research in the development of theories and techniques that help explain treatment and recovery from RJ and R OCD for those clients that I actively walk alongside. And I won't give a specific date as to when I developed those theories or techniques because we may need to follow a legal process here to protect that intellectual property and copyright. But the reason as to why I'm making, and I've decided to make this video today is twofold. Firstly, I think there is a real potential to have a real positive impact in helping those affected by RJ and R OCD. And while I've chosen to help hundreds of clients now, almost in the thousands, in more of a one-to-one setting for many years, almost been in the background, I believe it's time that I stepped out from behind the curtain, as it were, and positively add to that intellectual body of knowledge of RJ and R OCD and helping individuals better understand what is occurring for them. Now, what is also really meaningful for me is that, that not only can I relate to RJ OCD from within these psychological frameworks developed and evolved, but also from my own personal experience. Me personally myself having been affected by both RJ and R OCD for many years, really proud of having been treatment free and having had informed recovery long term for 17 years now. So for me it's been a long journey, and I can recall when I first began experiencing RJ myself. I was in my undergraduate psych studies, and no one knew what was occurring for me. No one could explain what was happening. I would have professors that would talk to me and say, well, it kind of looks like OCD, but not. So that's really when I started to embark in this research, and over time developed to quite a substantial body of knowledge in terms of the development of theories and techniques. Now, my second motivation for this video is one of concern, okay? And that is concern because recently I've been hearing a lot of those individuals on YouTube claiming to be therapists who are appropriating my theories and techniques and claiming them as their own original thought. Now, you may recognize techniques which include mindfulness in combination with box breathing and neuro-linguistic programming, to name one. Now, this technique derived from my own unique research in the treatment of RJ and R OCD. Now, which not only is wrong from a legal, moral standpoint, but if those techniques aren't applied correctly, there is a real risk of causing further psychological harm to that client. Now, it's really important that when we talk about RJ or R OCD, that we appreciate that every individual's presentation is different, and that presentation often informed largely by the other things that may be sitting around that client, as well as those underlying factors that first kind of informed the individual's experience of OCD. Now, you've got to always look in the context of trauma. You've always got to look at the context of negative adverse experience. And there are a number of things that you've got to look at. Therefore, these techniques need to be skillfully adapted so not to cause that further psychological harm. If these techniques are not correctly used or applied, there is a serious risk of further exacerbating that client's presentation, thus causing significant cross-compulsions to occur, as well as other things that I won't go into here. You know, the other thing that I find so frustrating is essentially that these people are building, or at least attempting to build, their own credibility based on the intellectual property of others, giving the appearance that they are more qualified or experienced than what they actually are. Now, there has been a significant investment into the development of this research, put into these techniques and theories, not only by myself, but other specialist clinicians that are working within the team of RJ therapists that I work within. And as such, they are considered to be intellectual property. Okay. But by no means are these theories and techniques only meant for a chosen few. That's not what we want. But these techniques and tools utilized in theory are often created to the client themselves based on their unique presentation and the other associated things that may be sitting around them. Hence, need to be adapted and applied by qualified and experienced therapists. Now, in the coming weeks and months, I plan on releasing other content, on these theories, these techniques, and other topics related to RJ, OCD, and R OCD. And there is currently a book that I'm developing that talks to everything that I've learned and still learning based on my own individual personal research on the topic of OCD, specifically the neurological adaptations associated with treatment. All culminating my 23 years of clinical practice and specialist interest in RJ and R OCD. So I'm hoping to release that book. Look, can't really say when, but shortly. So, in closing, my message is please be safe. And only trust your recovery and those individuals who are qualified and experienced, not those individuals who are attempting to build a profile on a brand off the back of other people's research techniques and theories. Thank you. We'll see each other soon.